The quiet extinction right now, somewhere outside your window, a world is collapsing in silence. No explosions. No headlines. No moment you can point to and say, that's when it happened. Just a slow, invisible unraveling that has been building for decades. And by the time most people notice, it will already be too late to reverse. We are losing insects. Not some of them. Not the ones we don't like. All of them. Faster than any group of animals in recorded history, and almost nobody is talking about it. This is the quiet extinction. And it might be the most dangerous thing happening on Earth right now. The scale of the problem, let's start with a number, 27. That's the percentage of flying insect biomass lost in protected natural areas across Europe in just 27 years. Not farmland. Not cities. Protected nature reserves, where nothing is supposed to go wrong. And that figure is almost certainly conservative, because most of the world isn't being monitored at all. In Germany, a landmark study tracked insect populations across 63 sites over nearly 3 decades. The results were so alarming that researchers initially questioned their own data. Flying insect abundance had declined by more than 75%. 3/4 gone. In less than a human lifetime. Puerto Rico's rainforests, some of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet, recorded biomass losses of 98% in certain insect groups between the 1970s and 2010s. 98. That is not a population dip. That is near total erasure. And it isn't just one region, one species, one unlucky corner of the world. It's everywhere researchers look. North America, South America, Europe, Asia. The trend lines all point in the same direction, down steeply, consistently, without pause. That we are not watching a species struggle. We are watching an entire class of life quietly vanish. Why insects are the foundation? Here's the thing most people get wrong. They hear insect decline and think, fine. Fewer mosquitoes. Fewer things buzzing around my food. Maybe that's not so bad. But that intuition is catastrophically mistaken. Because insects aren't just part of the ecosystem. They are the ecosystem's operating system. Remove them and the whole machine stops. Start with pollination. About 75% of flowering plant species, including roughly 35% of global food crops, depend on animal pollinators to reproduce. And the vast majority of those pollinators are insects. Bees, obviously, but also flies, beetles, moths, wasps, and hundreds of species most people have never heard of. Without them, the plants don't fruit. The crops don't grow. The food webs built on top of those plants begin to collapse. Then there's decomposition. Insects, particularly beetles, flies, and ants, are nature's recycling system. They break down dead matter, return nutrients to the soil, and keep the chemical cycles that all life depends on flowing. Without them, dead material accumulates. Nutrients lock up. Soil health degrades. Ecosystems become static, brittle, incapable of renewing themselves. And then there's the food chain. Insects are the base layer of nutrition for an enormous portion of vertebrate life on Earth. Birds, reptiles, amphibians, freshwater fish, small mammals. All of them eat insects, directly, or eat things that eat insects. When the insect layer thins, everything above it starts to thin too. This is already happening. Bird populations across North America and Europe have crashed in parallel with insect declines. The aerial insectivores, swallows, swifts, nightjars, birds that hunt flying insects mid-air, have seen some of the steepest drops of any bird group on the planet. They aren't dying because of habitat loss alone. They're starving. The aerial insectivores, swallows, swifts, nightjars, birds that hunt flying insects mid-air, have seen some of the steepest drops of any bird group on the planet. They aren't dying because of habitat loss alone. They're starving. Pull the insects out and the whole structure, built over hundreds of millions of years, begins to unravel from the bottom up. What is actually killing them? There isn't one cause. Pull the insects out and the whole structure, built over hundreds of millions of years, begins to unravel from the bottom up. What is actually killing them? There isn't one cause. That's part of what makes this so hard. It's a compound crisis, multiple pressures arriving simultaneously, each one amplifying the others. The biggest driver is habitat loss. complete their life cycles. As natural landscapes are converted to agriculture, urban sprawl, or monoculture, those specific conditions disappear. And insects, unlike large mammals, cannot simply migrate to a new habitat. They are locked to their environment in ways we are only beginning to understand. Then there are pesticides. Modern agriculture applies insecticides at a scale and intensity that would have been unimaginable 50 years ago. Neonicotinoids in particular, a class of systemic pesticide that permeates the entire plant, including pollen and nectar, are now found in soils, waterways, and wildflowers far beyond the fields they were applied to. They don't just kill pest species. They disorient, debilitate, and kill beneficial insects across entire landscapes. Light pollution is less discussed, but increasingly significant. Artificial light at night, from streetlights, buildings, vehicles, disrupts insect navigation, mating behavior, and circadian rhythms. Moths attracted to light sources die before reproducing.